President Donald Trump is ditching the White House and headed back to television for one night only as he announces he is hosting the Kennedy Center Honors later this year. This is the 47 Daily Podcast. My name is Mark Kaye. Today is Thursday, August 14th, and yesterday at the Kennedy Center, the president made this amazing announcement.
I've been asked to host. I said, I'm the president of the United States. Are you fools asking me to do that? Sir, you'll get much higher ratings. I said, I don't care. I'm president of the United States. I won't do it. They said, please. And then Susie Wiles said to me, sir, I'd like you to host. I said, okay, Susie, I'll do it. That's the power she's got. But I just, so I have agreed to host. Do you believe what I have to do? And I didn't want to do it, okay? They're going to say, he insisted. I did not insist. But I think it will be quite successful, actually. It's been a long time. I used to host the Apprentice finales, and we did rather well with that. So I think we're going to do very well because we have some great honorees, some really great ones. Since
President Donald Trump talked into hosting the Kennedy Center Honors by Susie Wiles. She truly is the most powerful woman in the entire world. If she can get the most powerful man in the entire world to come back down out of the presidential box at the Kennedy Center, which is the best seat in any house, and stand on stage and host the awards. Of course, we all do know that President Donald Trump enjoys standing on stage in front of people as well. So maybe it didn't take as much convincing, but it's interesting because not only is President Donald Trump the host of the Kennedy Center Honors, not only is he the president of the United States, but he's also the chairman of the board of the Kennedy Center.
A few short months ago, I became chairman of the Kennedy Center, and we completely reversed it. We reversed what was happening. We ended the woke political programming, and we're restoring the Kennedy Center as the premier venue for performing arts anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. This has the potential to be anywhere in the world. We're going to make it something that people can't even believe. We have some unbelievable plans, and ultimately it's about the talent you get, though. You know, you can have a beautiful building, you can have nice marble walls, you can have nicely done columns, as I was saying, but if you don't have the talent on the stage, and we're going to get the best talent in the world.
It's something that you could even say about President Donald Trump's administration and his entire cabinet. You can have the White House, you can have the Pentagon, you can have the Treasury Department, you can have all these big, beautiful buildings with their marble columns, you could have all this antique furniture, you could have everything in the world, the best military equipment, the most advanced technologies, but if you don't have the right talent in charge of it, the country goes straight to HE double hockey sticks in a handbasket. And we saw that with the previous administration in there. I don't even want to say lack of talent. I just say, what's the opposite of talent? Non-talent, just buffoons? I don't even know what word to use. But President Donald Trump was, you could tell, very excited, not just about the future of the Kennedy Center, but what it means to Washington, D.C. and what it means to the American people. And even the crop of honorees that they decided to honor, that the board landed on this year, show a shift toward a truly American and iconic group of individuals that most Americans can get behind. George Strait, country music superstar and the all-time leading, I believe, album seller in the entire history of music. Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa himself, Michael Crawford, the fan of the opera, Gloria Gaynor, and rock band Kiss, featuring Gene Simmons, among others. Those are your honorees, along with President Donald Trump. It's going to be one of the wildest and most entertaining, I believe, Kennedy Center honors that we've ever seen. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you, probably like you, I've never seen it. But thanks to President Donald Trump hosting, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be tuning in. It's going to be must-see TV, and it may actually be one of the most watched events of the year. President Donald Trump finished up his Kennedy Center press conference with some questions from the media. And one of the big questions is, what's going to happen with Russia tomorrow? Vladimir Putin's coming to Alaska. Donald Trump is going to go meet him, and they're going to talk about ending this war in Ukraine. What's going to happen? What is Donald Trump's expectation? And more importantly, what happens if Russia walks away without ending the war? Will there be consequences? And Donald Trump said, oh, you better believe it.
Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
Yeah, look, there's going to be lots of consequences. There's always consequences if you don't do what President Donald Trump wants you to do. Everybody should know that. And he's also not going to go into the details of what the consequences are going to be before the meeting. That would just be, well, silly. That would be something that Joe Biden would do. Like, for example, the time that Joe Biden handed Vladimir Putin a list of 16 sensitive targets and said, do not target these. These are the most sensitive targets in the United States of America. I don't understand why somebody would do that. Another question that came up was about the border and the border patrol and whether or not President Donald Trump is going to reclaim and rebuild the wall that was taken away by the previous administration. He said, you better believe we are.
Well, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I was getting very close. I actually finished the wall, but then I added another 200 miles because when you do the original wall that I said I was going to build, which I got built, and I got it to the specifications of the Border Patrol and ICE, the exact. They wanted steel, they wanted concrete inside, they wanted rebar inside that, they wanted it to have wires. The walls are wired for, all of the internet stuff and security things. And we built it hundreds of miles. We did great. That's one of the reasons even now we're able to have such good numbers at zero, or essentially very little people coming in. But Biden, I ordered for another 200 miles. I was going to do another 200 because it's the way it is. And we're all set to do it. Then we had the bad election result, the horrible, what happened to our country, what they've allowed to happen to our country. And we are taking now that wall back. They sold the wall. Now, this is expensive stuff. Hardened steel, very expensive. 9,000 pound concrete and rebar. Rebar is very expensive, the hardest rebound. No, it's very hard to cut. You have different materials. It's very hard to cut because they cut it down if they can. It's very hard to cut. And Biden sold it for pennies on the dollar.
That shows once again just how irresponsible he was, not just with the United States of America's national security, but also with our economy. I mean, with something that we spent lots of money on, he just basically, listed on for consignment. It was really a bad deal, but we are bringing America back. The border is secure. Donald Trump's going to continue to build and finish the wall to make sure that there is a solid barrier between us and our enemies and the criminals that seek to break our laws and come in here illegally. And at the same time, the deportations continue. In fact, Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, she made an announcement yesterday on Sean Hannity about the incredible response the federal government has had to their call for ICE agents. About a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, they released information about the ICE agents and people that wanted to work for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Service. If you wanted to fill out an application and work for Homeland Security, they were looking for new applicants because, well, when the one big beautiful bill passed, there was a lot of money in there for border security. And that means more border agents. And that means more ICE agents. And that means more money to deport the illegal criminals. And the amount of people, the applicants, were astonishing.
You have already well over 100,000 applications?
We do. In fact, as of today, about 110,000 applications in less than 2 weeks. And that's what I find so encouraging is it's clear the American people are behind President Trump and these officers. They have their backs and they want to be a part of what's happening in this country by making it safe again. So despite what, the fake news says, despite what the liberals and the socialists and the Marxists are parroting every single day out in their communities and to their supporters, it's just not true. The American people are so happy and they're excited about the fact that the rule of law is going to apply to everybody and that Americans and citizens who follow the law should be prioritized and that President Trump is doing exactly that. So to have that many applications means that we're going to hire the best of the best, and individuals who have experience can get qualified for their ICE badge as soon as possible and hit the streets so that they can make sure that these families get to live safely again.
Over 100,000 applicants for ICE, over 100,000 applicants for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Now, you may remember not too long ago, during the Biden administration, AOC called for the defunding of ICE. This was an agency that was on the brink. This was an agency that was very close close to being shuttered. And now, not only do you have a record number of ICE agents out there in the field deporting a record number of illegal immigrants who've come here against the law, but you've also got a record number of applicants who want to join them in that fight. This is no longer an agency on the brink. This is going to be one of the largest and most powerful agencies we have. And with President Donald Trump federalizing the District of Columbia and taking over the police force, the question then becomes what happens to DC's sanctuary status? Because, you know, a lot of these liberal cities also act as sanctuary cities. And when President Donald Trump federalized the police force in DC to clean up the streets and get rid of the gangs and get rid of the homeless people and get rid of the graffiti and make it safe again, a lot of other cities took notice, cities like Chicago and New York and LA, and they were concerned that Donald Trump would try to federalize them as well, try to clean up not just our nation's capital, but all of the big, beautiful cities, all of the tourist centers we have here in the United States of America. And if he does that, what happens to the sanctuary city status? It probably goes kaput. And that's exactly what Tom Homan said would happen yesterday.
I think D.C. under federal control is not going to be a sanctuary city. We're working with the police hand in hand. When we encounter a criminal illegal alien, they're going to be turned over to ICE. And that's the way it should be. I mean, I'm not saying every illegal alien in D.C. is a criminal, but many are. So these are people we're going to focus on. An illegal alien criminal safety threat in D.C. is not going to be protected. There's no sanctuary for these people in the city of D.C.
Yeah, and that is something that is going to really change the game. When you, one by one, slowly but surely, you take the sanctuary city status away from a lot of these places, you're going to see that a lot of these criminals then get removed and returned back to their homes or sent to some other third country that will accept them on our behalf. And because of the mismanagement of DC, because of the sanctuary city status, because of the crime that's been run rampant, because it's the most dangerous city in the country, Donald Trump has said, look, these people can't even run a small city. There's no way they would ever become a state. That is ridiculous and totally off the table.
Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the Democrats want it because the Democrats have, about 95% in this little area. Even I didn't get it very much. They want that. They want to pick up 2 senators, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the least of the reasons why, by the way, but that's one of the reasons why. What we want to do is make Washington, D.C. the greatest, most beautiful, safest capital anywhere in the world, and that's going to happen.
And that is something that President Donald Trump is adamant about. It is going to happen, and it's going to be the safest city, and it's going to be under federal control as long as it needs to be. And this whole talk of statehood, that's just off the table. That is a pipe dream. The fact that the District of Columbia, the city council, the mayor's office, the police force, the fact that they haven't even been able to govern themselves accordingly as a city shows that they're nowhere near able to govern themselves as anything more than just a district of the federal government. Speaking of the district of the federal government, the EPA, led by Lee Zeldin, is looking at a very interesting project in New England that Lee Zeldin went on, I believe it was one of these stations, and talked about. It's a natural gas pipeline through Massachusetts, which could be somewhat of an issue because even though it's necessary and needed and will benefit the folks in New England is deep blue, and there may be some pushback from the residents and of course the governors and of course the state representatives just because it's a Donald Trump initiative.
Lee Zeldin is pushing for a natural gas pipeline in New England. I can't imagine that the Massachusetts or New York would allow that to happen.
New England needs it.
Oh, I know.
They're relying on foreign sources of energy. I just visited all 6 states up in New England over the course of the prior week. The Constitution Pipeline of Williams Company, based out of Oklahoma, it was something that was on the map about 6 years ago. Now they're talking about bringing it back to deliver natural gas to New England. It'll need to go through New York. Quite frankly, New York should be extracting natural gas themselves. President Trump knows that one well, but instead, this is a proposal to bring the natural gas up from Pennsylvania. President Trump has been pushing Constitution Pipeline, Nessie Pipeline, a new LNG plant over hundreds of miles in Alaska.
Cheaper power, more affordability.
Power, and better for the environment. We do it better than so many other countries
More
do.
affordability. We don't need socialism
and
communism.
Jobs.
Jobs and power and cheap power and more money and all of this stuff that Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, and Chris Wright, the Department of Energy secretary, they've been working diligently on not just natural gas, but on nuclear energy, getting rid of windmills and solar panels and dumb things like that, and making sure that we have enough cheap, resourceful and ample energy sources all over the place. And this looks like it could be a battle, but an important one. And at the end of the day, what President Donald Trump is looking to do is focus on American energy, not just independence, but dominance. What we've started to see, again, with our natural gas pipelines here in the United States and our focus on nuclear energy is if we can build up nuclear energy and rely less on coal and natural gas and those kinds of energies, we will have more to sell to other countries. Think about this. We have an abundance. We have more crude oil. We have more gas. We have more natural resources underneath our surface than any other country in the world. We just haven't been able to drill it. Donald Trump is going to allow us to drill, baby, drill. If we use that ourselves, that's fine. But if we continue to harness the power of nuclear energy, then we will need less of our own natural resources, and we can then take those natural resources and sell them to other countries. That's something that Donald Trump is planning to do with Lee Zeldin and Chris Wright and I'm sure everyone else in the administration's help. And by building up nuclear power and decreasing our own reliance on fossil fuel energy, we'll have more fossil fuel energy to sell to other countries, make more money, and continue our dominance as the United States of America. It's a truly incredible plan, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to. So I would just have to say, drill, baby, drill. There is a lot more to cover, of course, as we get closer and closer to that big conference, which is happening tomorrow in Alaska. For the first time in a very long time, a Russian president stepping foot on American soil. And we'll bring you all the updates on our second daily podcast. Mark Kaye saves the Republic. Super entertaining and informative and easy to find. All you have to do is go to markkaye.com, MarkKaye.com. Click the red button to find out where you want to watch or listen on iTunes, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Rumble. We're everywhere. And we would love to have you. MarkKaye.com. Download, subscribe, listen, and enjoy.